As the world rushes forward to the brink of the 21st century, an unprecedented explosion of evangelism is spreading across the globe. The message of Jesus Christ has been proclaimed continuously for nearly 2,000 years, and yet more lives have been changed by the gospel of Christ in our generation than in all previous generations combined. The largest growth today may be in China, where there are now an estimated 75 million believers. In all of Asia, from 1980 to 1990, the evangelical church doubled, reaching 130 million. On the African continent, projections say more than half the population will be practicing Christians by the year 2000. Evangelicals in Latin America have grown from 250,000 in 1900 to 50 million today. But for Christians worldwide, excitement over this incredible harvest is tempered by a sober reality: the aching need for training to develop leaders fast enough to teach and nurture these millions of new believers.
These are most glorious days. I've been serving God for 48 years, training leaders around the world constantly. The influx of people that are coming to the Lord are far beyond our imagination, and this is only the beginning. My burden is that what comes into the kingdom of God will not be wasted. How can we conserve the field? We must train leaders, mature them so they can mature their own people, so they can assume the responsibility for worldwide evangelism.
In 1900, 99% of all Christians were Westerners. Today, 75% of all Christians are from developing nations. And currently, only 1 in 50 of these enthusiastic young leaders receives any training. In most of Eastern Europe, training structures for church leaders did not even exist until 1989. In China, an 18-year-old girl has started 50 churches. She is the only pastor her people know, yet she has had no training in the basics of the Christian faith. In Latin America, 80% of Protestant churches are led by pastors who have no formal ministry training. Every day in all of these lands, the Christian gospel is mixed with folk religions and idolatry, because well-meaning but untrained leaders lack basic Bible study skills and the tools for effective training.
For the past decade or so, our company has been doing research among church ministries and other ministries throughout the world. And one of the key things that we've learned is that churches frequently struggle primarily because they do not have strong, effective leadership. We know that worldwide there's a tremendous need to be identifying and training and deploying effective leaders. We need more organizations that are involved in the equipping of those individuals. As we look to the future, we know that the church is going to be a critical dimension to what unfolds in human history. We need effective leaders at the helm of the church.
This vital need can be met, but only through concerted prayer and the urgent work of those with the resources to bring discipleship up to pace with modern evangelism. Leadership Training International is moving forward with a strategic response to the world's ministry training needs. LTI was birthed out of prayer and action in 1992 when a small, dedicated team led a training mission in Bogota, Colombia. 1,000 leaders representing 22 denominations gathered, hungry for the resources provided during this pivotal event. The team produced a 200-page training manual in Spanish that was distributed to 2,000 leaders. Response from that conference, plus many more urgent requests for training from other nations, led to the formation of Leadership Training International. Since then, LTI has conducted additional conferences and consulting sessions on 5 continents and prepared an extensive training package available for translation into every language necessary to complete this far-reaching mission.
The Bible doesn't teach us to get people to make decisions. The Bible teaches us to make disciples. LTI is helping national leaders to make disciples by providing training resources, teaching tools, training events, partnerships, so that the harvest isn't just preserved, it's multiplied.
How does LTI accomplish this task? With a creative 3-part ministry approach, including a comprehensive curriculum, consulting sessions with national leaders, and conferences custom designed to meet training needs.
In 1989, I began working on a complete training toolkit that nationals could use to teach their own people. That's called MOTMOT. It stands for the Mobilization of Teachers through the Multiplication of Teachings. And that's exactly what's needed on the mission field, mobilization and multiplication. Now the LTI team is taking those materials and getting them translated into various languages so that indeed the indigenous leaders can have their own tools to use to teach their own people.
These materials that LTI has created can be used by a leader to train a few people as a resource, yet they're complete enough that this is an entire 2-year Bible school curriculum. As a matter of fact, there's 700 hours of materials, there's 49 courses. These are being used to start entire 2-year Bible schools. There's one in Russia, 2 in India, schools being started in Argentina and Colombia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, throughout the house church movement in China. As a matter of fact, we didn't even expect this. These materials are now being used to start schools in 6 states in America.
The LTI materials present the Christian faith in a very concise and comprehensive manner. I'm very glad to recommend these materials for leaders around the world.
Our approach to consulting is very simple. We listen and we respond. And our response could take the shape of a 4-day conference down in Bogota that would serve 1,200 pastors, or it could take the shape of what we're doing in Russia, where we have heard pastors saying we are 2 years and 3 years old as Christians, as individuals, and we have no seminaries. There we're going to help them plan a school. Or it could be serving the international student that's passing through Virginia Beach and has heard about LTI and wants to get a set of materials where he's going to go back and plan his own school. That's the kind of thing that we do. We simply listen and we respond.
Our most exciting work is customized training conferences provided on location anywhere in the world. LTI will bring and recruit qualified teaching associates and put together a very specifically designed training event for national leaders. It's a platform in which to provide these training resources to start schools, and it's also a place and a means to inspire, motivate, and encourage leaders to go out and get the job done.
We can go in and do a conference for 1,000 pastors, provide them with resources, equip them for their ministries there in their country for the same amount of money that would take one of the leaders to come to an American seminary.
And the pastors who join the LTI team as teaching associates find that their mission brings a blessing both ways.
After 10 years as a missionary in the Philippines doing church planting there, I came back to the States to do church planting here. But part of my heart was still in Asia. So when I had the opportunity to go back as a teaching associate with LTI, that was exciting for me. They produced the materials. I was able to share my heart with those Asian brothers. And then I found out they're in Africa and Asia and all over the world. And so our church is involved on a monthly basis helping them to do what they do all over the world.
Working as a teaching associate and having my church to help support LTI has afforded us an opportunity to help fulfill our global missions responsibility, and also has provided me with a personal opportunity to serve with the skills and abilities God has given me around the world.
LTI has a dedicated staff working together to put this 3-part plan into action. But the staff's work is only possible through the support and involvement of others who share this exciting vision. Churches, business leaders, and individual families are finding their place in this vital work.
Our church has been very happy to support LTI in its ministry, and also I've been excited to be part of the ministry as a teaching associate. And as I've gone around the world with LTI, I've seen the value of their ministry materials and of their conferences. It's a mark of integrity. What they leave with these pastors is a sense of working together in their city and truly believing to raise up a generation of leaders that will reach their nations. I'm glad to be part of LTI.
As a Christian businessman, I look for results, cost effectiveness, and efficiency. I found this within the organization of LTI. My company gives on a quarterly basis because we found this is the most effective way to further the kingdom of God.
I've known LTI for about 2 years now, and I really believe in what they're doing to educate and train new Christians around the world.
My partners and I were approached by LTI with an incredible opportunity to reach the people of China with the Mot materials. We responded to that challenge and provided the funds to have these materials translated into the Mandarin language. I know that it's one of the greatest opportunities I have ever had to be involved in the kingdom of God.
We as a family support LTI. because we believe that this ministry has a lot of potential to reach a lot of people of all different types of cultures and nations.
I have been around the world, as some of you know, in over 60 countries, and I've seen the exploding growth of the Church of Jesus Christ in Latin America, Asia, Africa, Eastern Europe. I have seen the church grow in a tremendous way. And in these, so to speak, emerging countries, there are leaders emerging that need training. It is critical that the work of Leadership Training International go full board into as many countries as possible. I am excited at the training that's available. I am excited at the strong response that is being given by LTI. And this is the reason. What they do in training leaders, pastors, young people, the future of these emerging nations will have a lasting impact. As the gospel is preached, as congregations are planted, the church needs to keep on growing. This is a good work for the kingdom of God around the world in our generation.
And the good work that God has begun in this effort, He will be faithful to complete as more of God's people respond to the call to make disciples of all nations. And the team at Leadership Training International looks forward to a future filled with challenge, with opportunity, and with rich blessings in the work of the kingdom of God.